Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this 14mm bezeled Rivoli. So I'm just gonna show you, it's very straightforward with peyote stitch, and I do have other videos showing this, but I do get a lot of questions about um, how many beads to start and size. And this design in particular, I'm making for Kath from England. So it's kind of a part of a series. So I've done a bunch of these already, and I'm going to do a different bracelet design with it. So that's the idea with these beaded rivolis or bezeled rivolis, is you can do all kinds of stuff with it. You can make earrings with it. You could make pendant with it, and a necklace or a bracelet. So we're going to do bracelets. It's kind of my thing. I prefer bracelets, but we will do some other stuff this summer. Like I got a request to do some necklaces, some basic beaded necklace. So we're going to do some of those in a kind of a 30-day challenge thing. So that should be fun. So let's get started. You do need a 14mm Rivoli. And just to give you a little quick update, these here are Swarovski Rivolis that I got from Kath over the years. So I wanted to make sure to use these guys to make some really amazing bracelets. But the other thing to let you know, there's some bead shops that still have Swarovski old stock, so you can pick them up that way. I don't know particularly for Rivolis, but for bicones, I know that Peggy from Buy the Beads also, she scours the internet for people doing destashes, and she buys them up and sells them to us for a really good deal. Now, I don't know if she has Rivolis, but she definitely has bicones, in case you're wondering. So let's get started. Size will make a difference on how many beads. Now, I'm using Delica beads. If you're starting out new, I would highly recommend you use Delicas or treasure beads. You can get the treasures from Art Beads. And let's enlarge this so you can see the difference between one of these beads. So this is a Delica bead. It's very tubular in shape. And the reason you should start your peyote stitch bezel with these is they really slot into each other well. So you don't have these big bumps of round beads in this area. It's harder to get a nice fit from the front to the back. So let me just show you some round beads, what they look like. I should have some close by. So here's some metallic Sojel. These look pretty small. Let's grab a few of these to compare. Oh, I hope I didn't lose it in here, because I'll tell you why. These are 24 karat gold Delicas. Let's get that there. Oh, I think it flung over there. So take a look. It doesn't look a lot different, but there is definitely, let's try it this way, a rounded edge on those round beads, and see how these are flat. So they sit really nice together. And there is the ones that sit nicely together. And I actually have a bracelet that has the rounded ones, because I have done them rounded. Let's not mix up the gold plated from the others. So a lot of information just at the front end, but just so that you know why I'm using certain things. If you want to use like round beads, go ahead, but just remember that it's not going to sit. Now I'm showing you this one, it's done with round beads, but I also did I did a right angle weave here. You can see that little diamond shape with the beads. At this point I do the hair peyote stitch. But let's get started. We can talk some more about stuff if need to. So 14mm Rivoli, you're going to need 36 Delicas. Let me just point out these, in case you're interested, these are Delica light 24 karat gold plated 11Os. Their regular price is $100. I think I got this at Shipwreck Beads and I got 65% off. So a 50-gram bag ended up being $50. And this, I want to say this was full. Yes, this was full. Okay. I'm trying to think where the rest of them went. This is full because I got some ready for a friend to send to a friend. So you can see that filled up that container. These are really cool containers that I get on Amazon. You get 60 of them for $35, something like that, Canadian, and they are great. They hold 50 grams. So if you buy in bulk like I do, it's really awesome. Okay, let's get started here. You're going to use, I'm using a size 10 needle. You can use any needle that works for you. Definitely maybe a smaller needle, like a size 12 would be good when you're starting to weave through these beads. I tend to, like when I'm hiding my thread, I tend to go through 3 beads at once. And you can see with this bead, this needle, it doesn't bend a lot, it will actually pull up some of the beads and it might distort your work. So you might want to start out with a size 12, which is an unusual thing to suggest. Now you're also going to need some size 15 seed beads, and that is at the front. I decided to do 1 row of 15 here. And the reason I do that is I like to have the most amount of crystal showing, but with it still being super, super tight so that it doesn't fall out. At the back, I put 2 rows of 15Os. Okay, so I have added my beads to the line. We'll just go through in case you don't speak English, and this way you can see how many beads are on there. Just to let you know too, if you don't speak English, I do get a lot of requests to add numbers and subtitles and stuff like that, but YouTube provides subtitles in all languages. So if you're not sure, what you do is you click on, where's my finger? On this corner, I'm using a tablet, so it's right here. It may be different if you're using a phone, but right here, there's a little dial for your settings, and I just realized my fingers are dirty. Yuck. Press that settings dial, and I think it's the second one. It'll say, no, it's the third one. It says subtitles. Click on that, and then over on the other side here will be a drop-down window, and it will say translate. And what it does is it translates into the language that the person who's doing the video is talking, so it'll translate into English, which is not what you want if you speak Spanish or Italian or something like that. But you can click on that language and then you can pick your language and it'll change it. Now, I'm not sure if they have it for all languages, but I'm pretty sure it works because I do it all the time with different languages. I'm able to switch it. Now, of course, I'm switching it to English, which is kind of a universal. So sorry, little distraction there, but I do get a lot of questions about that. So let's look at, we need 36 beads. So I have, there's 5 and 5 for 10, then another 5 and 5 for 20, so 10, 20, and then another 5 and 5. That's 30. Let's get those all the way down and then bring these over, and you have 36. You're going to take your beads, And I'm not going to put this at the end. I'm going to put this around the middle. I didn't mention the thread. Let's talk about the thread. I'm using Dragon Thread Green number 6, and this is what it looks like. It's that green color. It's great with gold. It disappears. I love it, and it's perfect for this application. You can use Nymo thread or 1G as well. A lot of people use that. Now, for these bezels, you don't need a full wingspan. So let me just, and what I want you to do is start your beading, put your beads on in the middle of the strand, and then do this. And the reason being, because when we get done the one side, we're going to flip it to the other thread and go to the bottom side, which will actually be the top. So let's pick up our first bead like that. And now I'm going to tilt the camera so you see just my beading going on. So bring it through like that. And you can hang on to the other piece. Makes it a little easier. So I'm going to move these out of the way so we don't get confused. Let's get our delicas, our beautiful gold plated. So if you have gold plated, don't forget to wash your hands. Any of the oils might damage the plating. I was going to do like white gloves, but we'd never get through the video. So pick up one bead. You're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip one and then go through the next one. And no worries if it moves around a bit, it will the first couple of beads. So get through there, pull that through, and pull these, and there, these should sit together like a little cross. Now we can hang on to it, pick up another bead. We're going to do this all the way around. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip this one and we're going to go through the next one like that. And I just hold it with my fingers like that. Okay, then pick up another one. Coming out of here, skip that one, go through this one. And I use my fingers to kind of push the bead out so I can get my needle in. And like that. And we'll just keep going around. So pick up one. Coming out of here, we're going to skip that one. We're going to go through this one. And just this one. Like that. And I am not pulling it super tight, but as you can see, it's tight enough that this is getting rigid. You want your beads to sit beside each other. And pick up another. Coming out of here, we're going to skip that one, go through the next one. That. Keep going around. You can see these go really fast. So it's super exciting. You can get a bracelet done. You know, when you break it down into components and you start to get a rhythm, it goes super quick. So let's take your nail and scooch that one forward. Like that. Let's see if I can get this. Pick up one, 11-0 Delica. Coming out of here, we're going to skip this one here, and we're going to go through the very next one like that. Pick up one, coming out of here, skip that one, go through the next one. I think I'll enlarge this a bit if some people might have some problems seeing things. Which reminds me, you can also enlarge. Now I'm using a tablet, but I'm pretty sure it has to do with YouTube as well. As you can do this to your screen if you have a touch screen, and it will open it up, and it will actually, so one, it'll enlarge it to the shape of your whatever device you're using, but you can also enlarge it some more, so it will enlarge it considerably. So let's do this. Pick up 11 Delica, coming out of here, past that one, and then go through the next one. Like that. There's your bead. And just keep going around. I should do a marathon one of these one day and just see how many I can make in a several hour period. I don't know if I told you this before, but early on when I started my YouTube channel, I thought this will be cool. Let's do a bracelet making challenge. So what I did was I had little project bins all over my desk ready to go to make bracelets. And I would turn the camera on and just start making bracelets. I think I got to like 3 and I'm like, oh, this is not going to work. It took forever. I think part of it is I find putting the clasp and the findings on at the end is super, takes just as long as the bracelet sometimes. Okay, we're getting close to the end. You can see our thread that we started with. Okay, so this step here, if you look, my thread is coming out of this bead here. So we need to skip this one and we need to go through this one. Now, to do the next row, we're going to put 50 O's in these slots, but we need to get to there. If we're in this bead here, we need to step up to this one here and then go through. So I can do it separate and show you, or when you go through this one, you can always bring your needle on an angle to get to the next one, but I think I'll do it separate so it's very clear what I'm doing. I do find this is the area that I got confused when I started beading. I never understood that step up part. So pick up a bead, Delica. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to skip this one. We're going to go through the next one like that. And you can see when I put my needle that way, the other beads behind it, I could easily go through that other bead, but we'll do it in 2 steps. So now this is what we have. Let me bring this one down here. So this thread here is the thread, the bottom thread or the tail thread. So I'm just going to move that over so you can see what I'm doing here. So now my thread is coming out of this bead. But here's the next spot where we're going to add a bead. So I want to put some 15 O's here. So we need to bring our thread through that bead there. And that's your step up. So like that. Now I'm going to move my delicas out of the way. So that's it. We're done with the delicas. So you can see if you were using your really expensive beads, you wouldn't have to use many. So let's move those there and get these out here. Okay. So we are going to put the 15 O's in. So pick up a 15 O. You're coming out of this thread. We're going to put the bead right here and go through the next bead that's sticking out. Like that. Pick up a 15 O. Coming out of here, going into here. Like that. And right now for my tension, I'm just using a loosely firm tension. So there's no thread showing, but at some point you're going to want to pull that a little tighter so this starts to curve up, because that's going to curve up around the Rivoli. So grab your 15, go through the next one. That. and just continue like this all the way around. So you're basically putting those little 15 O's into the slots that are empty and passing your thread through the next. So you can see I just pulled a little bit more and you can see it's starting to curve up. That's what you want. I think the biggest thing to learn with bezeling things like this is your tension. Because if I were to pull really hard on this side here, then those beads on the bottom would push outward this way. And then when I go to put my Rivoli in, it would be too far away from the Rivoli to actually pull it in. So we want these Delicas to sit right on the edge of the Rivoli, and then the 15 O's to come out like this. So just enough to tuck in. And as you can see, because we're going to do 2 rows on the back of 15 O's, they are going to really snug this up. Now, if you want, you can do it the other way around, 2 rows on the front, and you can put 2 rows on the back if you want. Like, I've done it all different ways, but especially these are so beautiful. I want them to be showing more of the crystal. Just keep going. 15 O's. And I don't know if you noticed on the back side of the Rivoli that's complete, there was 2 15 O's in one slot, and I had already taken it apart twice. Oh, just like I did there. You see how quick it is? You pick up 2 by accident. So let's get that one off there. Well, isn't that special? Like that. And keep going. So there's so much you can do with these, especially like once you have this type of bezel done, you can actually continue to add either designs with the beads around the bezeling, or you could add beads coming out of it, so to make it look like a flower or a star, or adding specialty beads that will connect with others. So there's so much really cool stuff you can do with this. That. Now we're coming to the last one, and I know it's kind of hard to see here. Okay, so we just added this 15 O to this area here. You can see there's a bit of thread there. So if you pull tighter, it will bring this, like cinch this together, but we're going to leave it for now. So our thread is coming out of this bead. So we need to add a 15 right here. We're going to go through this seed, this delica bead, and then you want to step up at this one here. And I'm going to enlarge that just for a second here so that you see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can get this a little more in focus. When you use so much enlargement, it gets a bit grainy. So let's just show you what I'm talking about. So my thread is coming out of this bead here. And this was the last 15 we added. So we need to add a 15 in this area here. We're going to come through this bead, and then we're going to step up to this bead. So let's do that while it's enlarged, and then I'll go back to the regular size. So I've got my bead. We're going to go through here, and I'll do it separate so you can see it, maybe. This. And you can see I pulled it and it went up a bit like that. So now we want to add a second row of this 15s. So we need to step up to this first 15 that we added. Let's go like that. There. Now what you can do is you can check and kind of mold it a bit to the round shape and double check it with your bead. So it's a bit loose. So I think what we'll do is we'll tighten this a bit. Now we are going to put this in this way. Where am I here? This way here. I think I'm going to reduce this because everything goes off camera because it's so big. So you can see we kind of want these walls to pull up next to the Rivoli. So let's grab hold of your tail thread and part of your beads and then just wrap it around your finger and pull, and look at how that you can. Now don't pull it too much because you'll lose, it will become too small. So let's go like that. That should work. We could probably pull it a little bit more. There's some space everywhere. Let me show it to you this way. This is how we're going to put it in. So I just want you to see the pretty side of the crystal. So let's pull it again. And you can do this pulling when you're beading as well. There, I think that's got it there. So, there, yeah, that's going to be perfect. Okay, so that's what I mean by tension on your beads. So let's go back and add our final row of 15s on this side. Pick up a 15. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into this one. Like that. Keep going around. I'm trying to find the best angle for you. So you're just putting it in the 15s and watch it gets hooked on the other 15s. And again, hooked. I have gotten finished with one, and when I went to look at it, it was actually, there was a big thread hooked. Then you're going through every bead one by one, tightening that little bit of a oopsie that you did. So I feel like you're not seeing much of this. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Let me see. I think it's a bit hard because you're there, that should work. It's a bit brighter. Because you're working on an angle. So you see all the 15s. So we're just adding a bead in between those spots. So let's get that one in there. Try not to pull too tight on this round because we have the shape that we want essentially, and we want to put the Rivoli in there before we super tighten it. And you'll see I tighten it quite a bit. I don't like my Rivolis falling out for sure. Nobody likes that. And I don't know how I feel about gluing. I've heard people put a dab of glue in there so that it doesn't come out, but I feel like the glue would damage the finish, especially on these gold-plated beads. So it's not something I would encourage. But let me know what you do. Sometimes I say, oh no, I'll never do that. I don't like that. You let me know and I'll try it and we'll all get a laugh together. Remember when I said I'd never do that? I think that's how you learn and progress as a person, is if you keep an open mind and try how other people do things. So we're almost at the end here. We're 2 beads away from the end. It gets a little sketch. And if you're a newbie, and new to beading that is, and some of these designs are a little too advanced for you, just let me know. I do new, more straightforward, less steps kind of things, and show you how to get around certain things and stuff. So I have tons of videos. Okay, this is our last one on this. So there's my 15. My thread is coming out of this 15 down here, and you can see there's a little space missing here. So then I'm going to go through this bead here, and I'm going to go up through this one as well, just to get away from this area. So let's just, got my bead, go through this 15, and you can go through the second one like that. Bring that up, and this is what you have. I'm just going around making sure they're all in the right spot. So now I'm going to put this face down. Make sure I've got the right thread here. Okay, so that's the front. It's face down, and we are going to put that like that. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this is where we're going to take our tail thread and we're going to put the 15s in here. But to start with, what I want to do is make sure that the beads underneath are actually in place. So if you look, you can see they're sticking up a bit. So now what we can do is hold it like this, put the other finger here, and wrap it once or twice around your finger, and then pull. And that tightens those beads that you just put in. And look at how amazing is that. So you can see where this side is showing a little more than that side. So what you're going to do is you're going to kind of move those around a bit and maybe tighten some more. And you can flip it as well, just to make sure everybody's in place. I'm going to tighten the other one. That. Flip it again. This could be tightened some more. At this point, it should really almost stay in place. But let me just scrunch those, hold it. Make sure I got the right one here. There. I think that should do it. So that's what it looks like. And it's like a nice little bowl for your Rivoli. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the needle off of the thread we've been working on. And we're going to thread the tail. That. And thread that. So I would have maybe put a little more thread on the tail to do around, but I'm sure this will work. So now if you look, your tail is down a bit. It's down one row. So it's coming out of Let me see if I can show you. It's coming out of this bead here. So we want to go to this one and then start adding in these little slots the 15 O's. So let's go. So you're going to go to the next bead on an angle, and let me check, double check. Yeah, it's right here. So I'm in this bead here, so I'm going to go up to this one here. Yeah, you can see that side that needs to be tightened some more. Okay. Let me see if I can tighten that a little more. You can see how that's loose. So always tighten in the direction the beads are going. So that's a little better. Now the other thing that I did on the back, and I should probably do it now, is I did go through the 2 rows of 15 O's all the way around, and it reinforced it. But we'll try it this way. It works both ways. Okay, so let's get started. 15 O. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to add a bead there, and we're going to go through this one. I've got my 15. There. And go to the next one. Just watch you don't cross over your thread. And with it being like a fused thread, it will sometimes hold its shape. Just get that a little tighter. Pick up 15, go to the next one, that, and keep going around, just adding a 15 to those little slots. So you can see it's starting to close around the Rivoli. Like that. Oh. And I'm pulling the thread to the middle of the Rivoli so that it pulls in the Delicas around. Ah, look, I got 2 on that one. I would have liked to put gold-plated 15s, but I don't have them. I have gold-plated 8 O's. And a few others. I have gold-plated super duos, ginkgo beads. And I can hear you now, you're saying, of course you do, Emma. That's what my wife says. So we were watching Sunday Morning this morning, and they were showing the Met Gala, and the person doing the story said that one of the dresses was chainmail, and it wasn't. It was cup chain. So I said to my wife, I said, you know, I just have to say this. They got it wrong. It was not chainmail. It was cup chain. There's a big difference. She's like, of course there is, Emma. I said, I knew that you'd want to know that your life would not be complete without that information. She is a news junkie. You know, when COVID started, and we also had a terrible, terrible mass shooting here in Nova Scotia during COVID, and we had terrible wildfires. So I was just like, I have a mental illness, and if I kind of saturate my brain with that stuff, I start to get really depressed. So I stopped for the most part watching news, and I knew that if there was something important, my wife would tell me. But oh my gosh, she watches it online. She's super, super smart. So take a look. Look at how. So even that spot here was a bit loose. It's actually held up. And I will go back and reinforce these. But let me just show you. So what I'll do for this one's ready to go. Oh, I missed a bead. Look, right here. So let's go out and fix that. So if you run into problems when you go to examine your stuff, that is common. What I did was I picked up a bead and I skipped, and it's just because it's so tiny. So all you do is your thread's coming out of that seed bead. Just go on an angle through the delica, like through the 15, through the delica, and hang on to your work. And that bead we have to pull off. I thought it was going to come off. There. Okay. Now all we have to do is come out of this one because the bead's right there. So this was not too bad of a mistake. So go like that, and there's your bead. So we're coming out of this one. There's our bead. We're going to go through the next one. So that was the one I missed. And I'm going to hold that and tighten. Pick up a 15. Coming out of this one, we're going to put a bead right here. So let's go through this one. Like that. One more. Coming out of here. We need one in there. So we're going to go through this bead, and I'm going to go on an angle to the 15, and I'm going to reinforce these all like that. And you see how it's popped out this way? We want it to go towards, and you can see how that tightens it nicely. So if your work is loose like mine is right now, and it could be just because of the video I was, didn't have the correct tension here, be sure, depending on where you want your beads to fit. So if you want, I'll just show you the other ones. I like mine to be just maybe one row of delica and one row of beads showing. But if you see over here, you've got 1, 2, 3 rows showing. So you want to create some tension with this thread, but not enough that it's going to pull the work from the back forward. So you see, I'm just taking my thumb and adjusting it, and I will switch my thread to this side, and I will reinforce these ones, and it will totally, see how they're kind of sitting up? We want those to sit firmly down, and by going through it again, it will do that. So there you go. That's how easy. So pretty, isn't it amazing? And I have to tell you, so I meant to say this earlier, these are Swarovskis. I have bought super cheap ones from BB Craft, from AliExpress, and I have bought like middle of the road ones. They all look amazing. So let me just quickly show you some of the least expensive ones that I got from BB Craft. So here's one. These were like super cheap, like junky cheap. And you can still make incredibly beautiful stuff with it. Let me, it's like, there we go. So look at how amazing you can make things. These were super cheap ones. you know, so, but look at, you can make some crazy stuff with this. Again, these were super cheap ones, big square ones or rectangular ones. You can see there's like scratchy and stuff like that. But at a distance, nobody's going to notice that. These look amazing. And then these were the latest ones I got from BB Craft. Again, I think I'm getting ready to order some more of these to do as giveaways, these yellow crystals. They were 50 of them for $2.35. So if you wanted to practice, you could practice with this. Like you can make a stunning bracelet with this. So, and all of these bracelets I showed you, I have videos showing you how to do it. So definitely let's make some stuff. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to put all the links in the description. Sometimes I forget stuff. So just if you politely ask, I will definitely get it for you. Take care. Bye.